It's with the dog, whatever information you want to get, and have Core go in after that, because sometimes the Sentinel util really hurt Core on these moments where you just couldn't escape from it.
That's when you're going to be satcheling in, you have to be on your toes and aware of where your opponents are going to be at, because remember, I'm just thinking about that round where they had that Blade Storm and they rushed out towards Gelato and they tried to go for a pop flash play so that Cora could dash forward, but she doesn't clear just under her on that entrance of Gelato. So you have to make sure that you're kind of like head on a swivel and making sure that your pathing is perfect on the satchels so that you land on your feet as soon as possible and fight for that duel. So FlyQuest, they come out with something new once again, and hopefully it pays dividends as they're going for this 4-1 control. Showers in the first place. As we mentioned here, Bob is going to play the solo mission towards B.
Just no util for Marceline, so just going to dip out of that one real quick. So FlyQuest have already found a gap, and through all the smokes, haven't really been discovered. So 100 Thieves are just going to have their backs against the wall, and Bob, I mean, has cleared out 2 from B, but I mean, the spike's already pretty solidified over at A, but with everyone dead, maybe Olivali's gonna take a second guess on that, but that's a long road.
Yeah, and thankfully, if you're looking at the minimap, and we know there's nobody really cutting the rotations that you have there from Olivali, so thankfully, Bob was able to open up here that 2-piece in the front of that B main. If not, that was already GG for the round for 100 Thieves. Now very doable because you have so much space taken now from Bob, looking all the way back towards that spawn. So Olivali, if she moves into this site, should be playing for spawn here.
I thought maybe 100 Thieves would want to take the TP, but they're also just doing the buddy system.
30 seconds left. Spike planted.
Okay.
Now the jig is up, and here comes 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and we're just going to wait it out for a bit. So it'll be ghost to ghost for both sides. And the thing is, 100 Thieves are staying as a group. So for both teams, you're going to try to clear different corners. And if Slaney throws out a haunt, is going to give the position away of where 100 Thieves is coming from. And that will get FlyQuest ready to play that 2 versus 2 on the pulse plan.
FlyQuest have the good read. It's not going to be coming from defender spawn, but time is running out. 100 Thieves have to march in, and Bob already take care of the haunt. Gets some damage in, feeds them into Olivali, and here's the 1 versus 1. Defuse not halfway, and Bob's patience pays off. Really did everything to win that round for FlyQuest.
And that's why it was going to be dangerous. Instead of planning towards that back of the spawn, that you already had that line being watched by Bob, and they both could try to just hold that setup towards that back and play the post plant themselves by flipping the map over. Keeping it inside tin was definitely looking like a doable scenario in that 1v1 when you saw Slaney going onto that spike. But thankfully, it was just enough on the edge on the left side of tin that allows here for Bob to see if somebody's going to be fully sticking to try to get it halfway or not, so that Bob could Bob could play that 1v1 to perfection. So a pistol round save for the side of FlyQuest, thanks to the heroics of Bob.
I guess the Avengers assembling here, and Thea, just the easiest 3K. Slanty's gonna nope out of there, but 100 Thieves went for the Hail Mary, and now FlyQuest, well, the decision was made for them. Got the 3K, let's see who else is home. Potential ace for Thea, Melia's in U-Haul. Who's gonna steal this away from Thea? Oh, don't let it happen.
Cora's knife out, trying to find her. Ah, no!
Almost the iBUYPOWER ace, but hey, man. That was a great heads-up play from Thea, just sticking to the corner, expecting some kind of shenanigans from 100 Thieves.
And this is a great start for FlyQuest, too. A lot of, if you're looking at the roster now, 3 of them are halfway, even a little bit halfway off the Viper ult here for the side of Thea. So they now have, the chance to slow things down for a bit for this round. Despite it being a bonus round for them, they still have some great weapons carried over into this round. 2 rifles and Outlaw. So continue to take Showers control, take that orb, work your pistol around that Bob got value for.
Okay, the satchel in. Cora means business. Lady's gonna swing into her too. Can't step up to the goal like that. And Cora doesn't need like all this util. She just needs to be steady and with the dog clear from Ev. That's the type of layering that FlyQuest need to do to support that duelist.
And the type of spacing that Cora uses as well doesn't go for the double satchel to go for the overextension into Showers. Lands right at her feet and instantly gets the opener. That's the type of opening I want to see now for Cora, and it's working out well for FlyQuest here in this 3rd round.
He has an important job to cut off this U-Haul. Get 100 Thieves uncomfortable under the pressure. Melia drop. They is not
remaining.
done. Lydia's the next victim, and it's just as easy as that. And it's just all left to Jazzykins to pick up the pieces, but at this point, you just save, right?
Yeah, for sure. With 100 Thieves, Jazzykins all the way down to 0. Has full kit to work with, so she has util to try to stay alive as the spike just got planted. The thing is, once again, I was keeping an eye out on these pips. Showers control, who's planting, and it seems as though you're still putting a lot of importance into Ev trying to grab these cabbages. So remember, when we talked about lack of util that could really help Cora to enter towards these sites with the double satchels, then at least those cabbages will seek towards the right person and close that gap to where their opponents could be. So that is probably the type of game plan that you're looking now for FlyQuest to allow Cora to engage a little bit more in these type of entries for the team.
Still do a lot of work on this map, just on these half buys. If you're got enough money for a judge, if shower seems to be a problem, that is my favorite place to play a judge. So FlyQuest definitely abusing that showers route. Haven't had really a frontline blocker to stop that. Sometimes it's Marceline, sometimes it's nobody. And 100 Thieves have tried to throw a lot at FlyQuest and have not been able to stop Cora, who's kind of clearing the way on that side.
Yeah, definitely start using these judges like, well, with how we're currently satchelating for the side of FlyQuest, it's a good idea to go towards that showers, but if Cora's satchelating the way that she does, it's too much space here for the judge to get value, although none of them are really... Oh yeah, actually, Melia just got one here and is playing towards U-Haul. U-Haul and Hookah, close range towards Long B. I mean, every single corner with the judge on every single map is quite good. And now she's playing it even better as FlyQuest has inserted a couple of players to try to take U-Haul control in these A-side splits when they're trying to commit here in this area. So it might work out for their favor. They have the right numbers towards this A-site, because that's where FlyQuest are moving to in the mid-round.
Slandy gets bailed out there by the Viper wall. Good information for 100 Thieves, but now FlyQuest is teleported. Here's the satchel in, and Jazzykins holds her ground. A great anchor. And FlyQuest have been cut down. Their forces are still going to try and plant. There's still a Brimstone alive with smokes to try and protect this plant. Bob works on the picks. There's only so much time that I guess you could kill, but who cares when you just kill better than 100 Thieves? The setup is there. Melia is going to try and stop this with the judge within the smoke. That can still be really impactful. Slandy just with the jump spot gets punished by Ev. Melia still has to try and come up with something, and well, if FlyQuest are gonna come towards her, then that's free upgrade for Melia. Never mind.
Yeah, fortunately, the weapon being picked up. Pretty sure she's playing right-handed models, so she didn't see Alluvali just around the corner there towards towel boxes and just got picked off. But I gotta say, that was a nice little move there by FlyQuest. Alluvali moving up towards Long B alone, and once she got spotted here at that spot, 100 Thieves went for the instant rotate, because who the hell wants to execute towards the site without the Brimstone? So you would think that the rest of them are trying to go for a hookah split. So you had the full rotate come through, with the exception of Jazzykins at triple box. Was it for Jazzykins 2K, that would have been a much easier, cleaner round for FlyQuest, but at least they got the job done. The round in their favor, even orb control back in their favor as well. As Bob pulls out the op on Hookah's side, the rest of them are still going back into that trusted 4-1 scenario for FlyQuest.
I'm gonna say Bob with the op. It's Bob, but I don't like that. I don't like it as much, but we'll still call her to go. FlyQuest. So, I mean, Bob's impact has already been felt just from single-handedly winning the pistol to just being a menace that will keep 100 Thieves on their toes. Now off this Viper wall, FlyQuest scaling up. The Jazzykins will spot that. The flash will get 100 Thieves nervous. Here's first contact. Jazzykins keeps them up, and FlyQuest trade back and forth. The Seekers get pierced through by the op, and 100 Thieves survive for now, but the infiltration has already begun, and FlyQuest throwing nades now into U-Haul. If FlyQuest still, Cora still wins that. She's incredible in these 1v1 scenarios.
Now with the spike plan too, I think this might be another scenario Melia has to save. Already walking back towards hell, and there you go, yeah. I think it was still a great start for 100 Thieves, with Jazzykins getting the opener that she did towards the bottom here of short A. The thing is, I thought you tried to go for the full exit, especially with the Viper wall coming up, Seekers and Flash to get true value of where their opponents could be, but thankfully they still had power of numbers for the side of FlyQuest with this continuous 4-1 setup they're playing here towards this A site. And that kind of leaves Showers left for stranded when everybody's so focused to fight out towards short that Cora gets immediate value for supporting teammates, getting the backstab up towards that U-Haul, and then also allowing FlyQuest to get around back in. So from what was a very tough start into a very bad finish for the side of FlyQuest on that first map, a 5-13 loss, really turned it around here on their map pick of Bind. And you're starting to see why here. You just talked about it before we got into this map, Lemon Kiwi. The practice that you put into this map, the new composition that you're pulling out, you're trusting that whatever goes into scrims can translate now into the server. And so far it's been done well, because I feel like there hasn't been too much pressure in terms of retaliation on the side of 100 Thieves. We are playing it a little bit too passively, I'd like to say, for 100 Thieves' end, where you're playing passive U-Haul, passive triple, no real extremity control on their side, not trying to find information into hookah as well with, you know, the comp that you bring here for the side of 100 Thieves. There's still great opportunities to find early mid-round information that's not fully being utilized by the side of the defense, and I hope this is what's being talked now during this timeout for the side of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, a lot of good ults coming into the next round, and 100 Thieves need a stop here, but won't have a good buy. But speaking of opportunities, I mean, FlyQuest have always been an organization so good at developing talent. Like, Cora, this is the best team that she has been on in terms of results and prestige, and look how she's still able to perform consistently throughout these matches and to be the primary duelist over people like Bob and others that could be stepping into those shoes. And Cora, you don't even need to dump all this utility behind her for her to still at least get her one. So a lot of dependence on Cora to open up the A site, which has been the most popular hit for FlyQuest. Now, post 100 Thieves timeout, it's going to be that 2-3 split.
More into Crossfire, into hookah as well. So I'm liking that you're doing these changes on the side of 100 Thieves, but you're doing this on an eco. So hopefully it's not going to be your full game plan going into the gun round, because you're kind of alluding here into FlyQuest that you are trying to take a little bit more some sort of aggressive map control here. If you lose for long B, at least you have hookah on your side.
Just kind of like the blind orbital strike. 100 Thieves, we're just going to be playing back. Now reinforcements are on the way, and FlyQuest just line up the ducks. Line up the pins, go for the strike, and 100 Thieves, I mean, they have Nightfall, they have Dimensional Drift, but this is just not a good round to really go for that big investment, not when anyone's really scratched the surface of the fortress, the bunker that is FlyQuest.
And you would think here that you're overcompensating for the side of FlyQuest to engage here with the Brimstone, but on your end, you could still cycle more ults here. The Viper's pit into the next core with the entry, with the rocket into the next round, so it's working out quite well to make sure that you have a very strong lead here going into the second map. Again, especially how the results panned out on the first map for your side, where nothing was working on your end. You couldn't really run defaults, you couldn't run crossfire setups, you couldn't really get real entries and you know, ping pong swings for the side of FlyQuest. And now it's looking a lot cleaner on their attack side here of Bind. Now you'll have to see, what are we going to try to do now to try to engage Thea to get the pit out? And it seems, again, to go into this 4-1. And now you see the timeout. What are we going to try to do with this? An off in the side of Marceline that brought full value on that previous map of Ascent. But if that gets smoked out right away here at the beginning, okay, you're going to go for that forward line. This is what I want to see here.
What a showstopper. Be a real scary opportunity for Cora. She's getting aggressive, and oh, the teleport out. Good bait for Lydia. Now the 100 Thieves invest 2 members into Showers. They finally put a stop into what seemed like such a free route for FlyQuest, but the plan will still continue. It's creeping up through the smoke as Thea, if they can get her in a post-plant scenario, never mind. She will have the Viper's pit for next round, I guess.
I think she even made noise. I think that the little icon in the minimap moved out a little bit too quickly, and she was easily spotted, found, and picked off here by Jazikins, and I'm pretty sure she was trying to block line of sight by sneaking through a pit in the back. And now just everybody's going to get picked off by one by one with this op.
with the 6-0 star, FlyQuest are so rich they could repurchase all the ops if they need to, but it's a good round for 100 Thieves to build up towards those ults, and LEFU is the only one without an ult. Now FlyQuest will have to think going forward, how are they gonna change up their util usage to get through showers a little bit easier for someone like Cora, especially when you're gonna have Lydia and Marceline be there with a potential teleport.
And it looks so difficult for them to hold this round for FlyQuest. Last second TP will probably get them towards Hookah, but both of them just got hit by the Nightfall with 13 seconds left.
Oh, wait!
10 seconds
Expect
left.
the unexpected! How does Ev get away with that? The Nightfall thrown from 100 Thieves and a double kill from Jazzy, left with Ev to clean all of it up, and Melia, the last survivor. That was an interesting end of the round. A lot of ults coming out.
Yeah, she was just hanging out in Hookah, and that's the... Again, the silver lining with Slaney getting picked off the way that she did, because the Nightfall blinded and deafened both players inside that A site. So they never heard the Showstopper come up. They never heard even the Satchels come up from the top of the APC. So she gets a full rocket, speaking of Jazzikins, right onto two players and saves around there for 100 Thieves. Because Ev, that was a superstar play that they just did. Beautiful flash around the corner, blinds two players, lines up two as well, and almost gets the wall bang onto Jazzikins. Imagine if they did. That rocket would have never gone out into that round. And you could already see it. They lost the round, their first round of this map, and already Coach Joe calls a timeout for the side of FlyQuest because they don't want to give the opportunity for 100 Thieves to start catching up, because he realizes now that out of that previous timeout, they did talk about having early map control. They went for showers pressure and even a double swing kind of, so that the op, even if it misses, Lydia is there to support. So FlyQuest, I think now, is going to the next track book to not go for this 4-1 split and to think things differently, rather, as they have Seekers to work with to start entering here with this B side, apparently.
Yeah, not a lot of rounds have gone towards B. And
Why armor, Ev?
Troublesome. Yeah, to
There you go.
deal with Slandy and Melia with the wall that could come up, and Slandy likes to peek early. And that's why Slandy and Melia's numbers look like that. They just have not been able to have any gunfights, really.
Bring them down.
Same sort of setup. If you have your Molly out, wall up, Slandy gets to check and gets away with it.
Hello, but unfortunately the wrong side.
I've got your trail.
Alright. Seekers for Ev.
Found one.
Information. What is the weaker site? Alright, the chase down to someone within the site here. Over at B. FlyQuest will send the showstopper in to do all the talking, just blindly through all the smokes. I mean, FlyQuest have really encased this site. Really need the kills to feel secure, and Cora pushes out solo. Here's the trade from Ev. The orbital strike from Lydia to try and reestablish this defense, and with Slandy at the helm, it's very possible. 100 Thieves got the spike drop from FlyQuest, and now you got an op that has to travel around with all the smokes within, and Ev journeys on by themselves. And that just gets punished by Lydia. 1v1 to end the round, and Bob swaps out the op for the Vandal. Now wrapping around through elbow. This is quite the ring around the rosy, but 13 seconds left. Bob's gonna have to make contact soon. Lydia's not... Oh, now just turning around. 5 seconds. Bob is gonna plant. Lydia just has to prevent it, but Bob is quicker to the trigger.
Oh, one of those moments where Lydia had it.
These guns we use are okay.
She's been so good in that first map, but unfortunately just couldn't capitalize on that first contact play against Bob, trying to get the plant down on that B site. 4 seconds as Bob engaged into that spike plant. Should have been a freebie, but Bob wins that duel towards the end. I still have to add some commitment, though, into how 100 Thieves kind of anchored up towards that site. I think the kind of ultied Lydia's ult onto Slaney on purpose so that she could find a surprise kill outside of the tin. It got some value. FlyQuest is able to reset that economy right away.
Oh, there's sheriff, but you know, the GC sheriffs are something else. You don't know that lore, ask anybody. FlyQuest have to get through B, and it was just a smoke hell, and it was very difficult for FlyQuest to get around. Even with the weapon advantage, they're just not feeling too good, especially without any kind of hookah push. And the lurk from Thea and Bob too. Feeling more confident about that setup too. Marceline, you gotta finish off what you started. Bob's not gonna bite down on that bait. No, thank you. FlyQuest dog up. They'll have their Vipers wall up, and there's the flank from Hookah coming through mid, and it has to be Louvely that keeps that in check with the Vandal. It gets the double, a 1v2 that is critical to really sealing this round for FlyQuest. 100 Thieves have good ideas on these saves, but FlyQuest are determined to send us into a map 3.
And great heads up play here by FlyQuest. As soon as the first player drops down towards the market, the rest of them is, okay, well, Bob already found one player in the front of Showers at the very beginning. They have to be a little bit weaker up towards that A site because we've noticed 2 players are flanking towards that back end. One of them is kind of pinned, trying to fight against Bob, trying to lurk up. So you have one person watching that flank towards market. The other one engages to start rushing into the A site, pinch into Showers. And I was gonna say Bob's your uncle, but Bob's still fragging on the server here as this chamber. She's currently holding out now on trying to counter against the Viper's Pit on short.
Bob and the auntie, I guess.
Yeah.
But oh wait, Jazzy Kittens. That's mother right there. Always delivering on the big kills. 100 Thieves start off and much need any round that they can get, especially with where the economy is. This is a must win, it feels, just to get back on your high horse.
Yeah, this is a great start for 100 Thieves. So a rare 5-on-4 early start that they get on their side with the denial of that push from Cora all the way up towards Long B. But you see what happened before here. Louvely inserted towards this B site. If she's going to start making noise on that side too, I might have to keep those players at bay. But so far, 100 Thieves are still playing power of numbers, trusting into the pit, keeping their 3 players towards this B site.
And Ev could still try to flash within the pit and see if he can flush out the rats from the pit. But right now, Ev is just going to stay put. Let FlyQuest work the right side of the map. Those flashes out. Some movement, but Slandy holds on. The 100 Thieves backline tries to push back against FlyQuest, who sealed their half of the real estate with the brim smokes. Marceline's on the other side. Will have the ult, but I think you can just play this from front to back. If you're 100 Thieves, smokes go down. Marceline is quick to react. And that means FlyQuest could find themselves 6 feet under, but the 1v3 is not possible for Thea. And a much needed round for 100 Thieves.
Great patience by Marceline. That had to come down to reaction when the smoke dissipates so that she reacts to where their opponents could be, flicks onto the first kill, and already knew where the second player was at because of some noise that were made while we were planning here towards this A site. That said, the adjustments right after to pull that pit down just to make sure that Thea cannot hide anywhere inside of Milia's pit, and everybody gets her pretty much pinned, cornered into U-Haul, and easily takes her down. That's a nice little reaction back and an answer back here for 100 Thieves, where it's been FlyQuest commanding the lead throughout this whole map. Trying to go for a C's nade, anticipating a double satchel right into Showers, and if they hear it, then that's where they'll throw their util.
Now the dog is going to reveal somebody with an op near U-Haul. And the offensive op, though, Bob gets dropped, and that means go to plan B, literally. Melia's in one and done spot. Oh, this is a neat trick on the other side of the wall, too. FlyQuest know it's coming. Thea has to address it, and Melia still gets the heads up kill.
I've got your trail.
FlyQuest have made their way through Hookah, though, but not having any eyes on B long is going to be a problem. The Seekers reveal Melia, and she can't stand up against the forces of FlyQuest. They overwhelm her. The 100 Thieves have to try and retake, and off of the Jazzykins opener and the showstopper double. It's possible for the Thieves. And the Prowler is bait, and FlyQuest fall.
Beautiful util by 100 Thieves too on that retake for that 3 versus 1. Jazzikin was with the most important kill in the first place to get the showstopper at the ready. So she enters right away, catches Ev off guard, takes them down, and then the rest was just history on how great they utilized nades, C's, and Prowler to flush out. I think that was Aluvili as the last player remaining here for FlyQuest. And what was it? We had a 7-1 scoreline at the Spheres here for the scoreline so far, but 100 Thieves are doing a good job here cutting down that lead. One more round and they're going to be able to regain that confidence moving into that second half. But if not FlyQuest, if they're able to shut this down right away, especially seeing defensive ops in the hands of Lydia,
too for 100 Thieves, so
that will give him much better confidence here to try to push this into a set. Oh, sorry, to
aggression from over at B Long, and that's where the Bob Op was sitting. So Marceline gets punished. Now it's an opener for FlyQuest to work with. But really, you're dogging up towards Showers. Pressure on Slandy.
A little slow to start, though. We're still trying to clear early information.
Play back, and it just kind of throws it out preemptively.
It doesn't hit anybody at all either. So 100 Thieves
thinking they were
playing a little bit into the unknown here after they lost their player early in Marceline. And with those ults util, they find no information. So FlyQuest has a window to split this A site.
FlyQuest able to dodge at least one ult. Now have to push through the smoke, and Slandy has the lineup. Jazzykins by her side. Crossfire 2. FlyQuest will have to explode in. They still have a flash 2 from Ev. There's the first nade. The flash stepping into the smoke. Still sought out. FlyQuest have all their ducks in a row. And Lydia is going to head out of dodge. The Molly gets a kill somehow. Sure, I guess. Now this is possible. Lydia gets back into heaven too with the op. This will be a deadly angle. FlyQuest will have to cower and hide. And at least with the spike down, they can do that. And Bob, every sightline that she has, she owns. Melia's left in a 1 versus 4. Pretty impossible task.
It's a shame you had to die, but you are not.
And this ends 9-3, so not the worst scoreline, despite, like you said, this starting 7-1.
All right, so we're going to continue forward here. Sorry about that, a little bit of a stutter going through as we're back into the second half. 100 Thieves and FlyQuest. It's FlyQuest on defense this time around. And we talked about just earlier on the round that needed to be won here for FlyQuest's side in order for them to try to push this into Abyss.
Okay, here's the plant for 100 Thieves. FlyQuest on their way. One flash left for Ev. Do 100 Thieves want to cross this line of no return? Smokes in place. 100 Thieves able to buy a lot of time, but now Jazzykins has to be front and center and give some ideas of what angles to sit at. Meanwhile, FlyQuest have already warded through U-Haul. And Thea makes a big hero play. Lydia's at the back end, challenging this, looking into the sun in a 1 versus 3, and the plan falls apart for 100 Thieves. And FlyQuest just take this one step at a time and stomp their way through the Thieves.
That's 2 pistols now for the side of FlyQuest on this map of Bind. This is a great start and a great confidence builder here going into the second half. And with that confidence, they're bringing in a lot of weaponry in the anti-eco. So you have an Outlaw, a Vandal, a Stinger buy though for 100 Thieves because they do have a Spike plant. I'm down for that, but it's also very dangerous because you have this Outlaw from Bob. And you know how good she's been with these snipe rifles from the first map until now. So if she chooses correctly, which it seems like she is, TP's on the top of the APC, she might have free reign to get 2 picks here up to short A.
Bob has been critical. Some tackle player on this team, but even she knows when to take a step back and choose a quality opportunity, and well, sometimes it just jumps into your lap like that. Within the smoke, using it against the Thieves. FlyQuest back, trying to retake through all the mazes of smokes, at least through heaven. Could be Thea marking her territory, but 100 Thieves are now hiding, and FlyQuest have to check these corners. Bob does a good job. FlyQuest have found that weaker point through U-Haul
One
to try and
enemy
break
remaining.
through. And the Thieves now are against the wall and into a corner. And FlyQuest, the power of friendship is all it takes. Get this one up to 11.
I like the idea too. That's a little bit of 100 Thieves moves themselves when they go for that smoke on the top of the APC and have Austin kind of just satchel on top of it and try to get an opener in there. But Bob, great reaction time to get that pick. And at the same time, as I mentioned before, all of them were at hash shields except for one player on the side of 100 Thieves. So everything becomes easy pop shots to fully cancel out the stinger buy on the side of 100 Thieves. Now you're going to have to gamble through. I mean, at this point, it's 11-3. Do you want to keep going for stinger buys? Do you want to try to just save again and go for the OT instead? And that is where it will get difficult now for 100 Thieves to decide on.
What a turnaround, too. You just thought 100 Thieves were just based on the firepower and everything they brought on Ascent, 13-5. That where did FlyQuest have enough in them to really push back against one of the best teams that we have here? And this is definitely giving Map 3 vibes. Holy cow, FlyQuest have majorly improved their Ascent and are heading into a direction of, well, this is annihilation.
Yeah, I mean, greatly improved the bind for sure after the results that they had in the past. So remember those different compositions that we talked about in the past 2 weeks
Bind, yeah.
of play that they tried to utilize there on bind, right? It was a 5-13 scoreline, 7-13 scoreline. Now you're coming in with what seems to be finally the winning recipe where players are kind of really comfortable within their roles. Ev, not the first time that they're going to play a Sky here on this map. Bob playing a chamber so that she could just focus on herself and just own the way that she does. And it seems to be that winning factor, especially didn't have a chance to talk about the Fragile IGL of Thea. 16-8 so far and doing a great job too on supporting the team to try to push this onto Abyss.
We're just sorting out a technical pause. There we go. I was like, timeout, technical pause. Okay. Yeah, because our Discord kind of went down, so I'm imagining maybe there's some comms issues, but once we get that sorted, we'll be all good. But hey, I thought the double duelist was going to be the real killer for 100 Thieves, especially with just how much momentum, just how much their confidence really was brought through on Ascent. And I mean, Jazzykins and Marceline are definitely putting up those numbers. It's just, you've been getting through Bob, to sorting out Cora through showers, through everyone from FlyQuest having their moments.
Yeah, and it comes down to what I was mentioning before too. When they're playing the defensive side for 100 Thieves, it was just a little bit too passive. And once they finally started figuring out how they could counter on the side of FlyQuest and they won one round, Coach Joe went for an instant timeout just to counter it back and not give that momentum back for 100 Thieves. So it really looked like the game plan was well thought out for FlyQuest, a little bit too late on a reaction from the coaching staff of 100 Thieves, and you've been forced to play comeback the whole time here on this map.
Oh, Bob almost gave Melia a haircut there, but meanwhile, Lydia's the one lurking around, and Bob gets the shot that she wanted all along. 100 Thieves really stuck in this round. It would have to take a hero play out of Marceline with the flashes, and now she's already been discovered. Off-road ahead of Marceline, the 1v2. Wait! The first shot is clean. Trying to stay still to finish off the second. Makor gets the trade. Thea locks up Hookah, and FlyQuest go to match point.
Coming back from that tech pause too, you saw that 100 Thieves didn't want to invest into another stinger buy and just try to close that gap that way. So it was the Hail Mary to try to get that into that second round after the first round plant, on the half. Now you're just going to try to play the rifles for the rest and try to force this into overtime if you can. The thing is, very difficult. You're already having a very potent op for the side of Thea. She might be wanting to use that early into Sands from the looks of it, or maybe put the orb down and ult into long B. But that could already lock down an early section of the map for bind for FlyQuest. Just nail this and push this to Abyss.
Satchel out.
Ooh. Second time Lubli's been punished, and well, now the round is just gifted over to 100 Thieves after a very aggressive play in showers from FlyQuest.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked that ult to come out somewhere at least. You get to funnel players across here to Bob,
Last player
who's holding
standing.
the Outlaw once again. Two of them can get one-shotted by the Outlaw, but instead, you went for these battles just to hold out towards Shower your op isn't at, where your Outlaw player isn't at. Looks like Bob was just playing short A from, or watching short A, whether you're doubling up on Showers, and everybody's just jiggle peeking where even Thea got caught into hookah. So all of those plans they were trying to pull up before, maybe not going to work this time around, but Coach Joe probably still has another timeout to work with, while the rest of FlyQuest still has a lot of money to work with. So that gives him a chance here to probably reset into this next round. Even if Bob stays alive for the remainder of this timer as well. I mean, Melee just came out from spawn. This is a free kill.
Do better.
So anyways, as you're staying back towards the spawn for Bob, it still gives a chance here for Thea, for Ev to talk things through and try to figure out how they could pick up the next round. And if it works according to plan, Coach Joe won't call the timeout. If there's a timeout, then there's probably something that Coach Joe doesn't like, and they want to try to leverage here the ults that are available now for FlyQuest.
Gun here.
Forcing a repurchase out of Jazzykins may cause some issues in the 100 Thieves side, but FlyQuest just need one. But sometimes at the finish line, that's when you can start to trip up, just when things look so done. Bob with the op. Ooh. That has held down A in the best way, and she does not miss those shots. Sometimes, but
Yes.
we'll confirm it
We're going for
eventually.
it. So there's that trip that's set within that smoke, so you hold that area, and now you can play a 3-2. We are a little bit overextended for the side of Aluvali, but this position has already gotten great value in the past. If you remember, if you watch the VCTs, Robbie PK from Loud had a 3K on that map, on this map in that very corner. But Bob won't get a kill.
Whoa. Wow. He usually doesn't miss those. That is an opener that 100 Thieves very happy to have. And they're going to start making their way through the right side. But extension that you talked about, we have to pay attention to it. Louvely is all the way through Fountain.
Toxins going up.
Very slowly but surely, though. While Ev will just go through spawn. So here's the offensive nightfall for 100 Thieves to try and deal with this pitch. And Thea has a lot on her shoulders to deal with this. Even the nade through, you hear the satchel, you get the spike down. And 100 Thieves have carved their way towards a site. And another chance to live on through this map. Meanwhile, Louvely has made their way through Fountain. Now through a main. And this is where they really needed to get some flank pressure going, but 100 Thieves had a right game plan around that nightfall.
And you still have cycled ults that are available here for FlyQuest. So, Tour de Force for Bob, Showstopper for Korra. If 100 Thieves are reading into this, I'd probably try to place Marceline here towards this A side, just to try to spot where the rocket could be. It seems as though it's currently being held by Korra towards this A site, looking to potentially even push forward at that spot. So oh no, I was gonna say you need Marceline to move forward so she could TP away if needed be.
Okay. You guys keep knocking at the door. Korra's gonna answer with a showstopper, so this could be that big hero play if 100 Thieves are grouped up in the right way. FlyQuest ready to push the envelope. But sometimes you gotta go back to those fundamentals. You just need the one round, like I said. Now Solo is heading through hookah. Bob is out. Now re-clearing through the dimensional drift is on the chase and will decloak right into hookah and gets the chase down on Thea. Jazzykins is also on top of the box after a satchel, so good ideas from 100 Thieves get them established into B. Now back in elbow. Round the corner. FlyQuest will shelter from the storm for now. Now there's pressure coming through hookah, all thanks to Louvely. So many angles from FlyQuest, and even with the satchel, you cannot deter Louvely. And the dog comes through the front side of FlyQuest. And 100 Thieves are surrounded. And through main, Lydia will try to assist if the Viper wall does not stand in her way. Ev comes out after the flash, and Marceline within 10 holds her own. Slandy's by her side too. Couple more seconds. Beautiful high-low swing. And Bob down for the count to 4K for the duelist.
Dude, Marceline is doing a great job activating in the later halves of these map. Entries the first time around, 1v1 against Bob into showers. This time gets a 4K within that round for 100 Thieves to actually capitalize for the 6th. That said, the way that they entered was beautiful. I was gonna mention, if Marceline's away right now where you're close to the showstopper, it's like, oh no, you're gonna get so much value from Korra. But it's Slandy with a Prowler, spots her first, pushes off the line. Then you get the Dimensional Drift going up towards Long, who avoids the Tour de Force, pushes Bob away, and then 100 Thieves are able to enter towards that site. So despite them being backs against the wall for the second map, I love that they stayed very calm to understand the scenario of what they're up against and leverage the correct utility to really gain that space at the right time and in the right way for the set of 100 Thieves. And finally, as we talked about the amount of ults that were still available, the economy that was still available for the set of FlyQuest to turn it out, now it's abysmal for their side. And Coach Joe now realizes, okay, it's time for me to push that button and try to maybe leverage what I could build up here within this round for the sacks and also for the next round when Aluvali is going to get her ult.
3 in a row for 100 Thieves. This is not a sprint now. This is a marathon. You have to play perfect from here on out. Any slip up costs 100 Thieves the map. It's Jazzykin's showstopper. Looking for a good stack up, even just throwing it at the shower's entrance. FlyQuest have liked to hold it there.
Okay, nice little idea.
Working.
Toxin screen down.
Now just deterring all the util. Bob's in her usual place. 100 Thieves go unchecked through showers. It's only Thea. Marshall just threw Heaven, which could get smoked off, which could isolate the site. So that means Korra has to step up. Jump peeking. Hearing the Prowler. Sure that even did damage. So now you got the orbital strike from the offense to try and clear the way to cause the chaos that 100 Thieves need to thrive in. And it's the hero Jazzy that makes this round still winnable. Bob goes undiscovered here in the corner. But not gonna be checked. The spike gets down. Jazzy clutches yet again. But now 6 feet under is 2 versus 1. FlyQuest for the map win to send us into the third. Melia goes to another site.
Had to come down to that. A lack of discipline for 100 Thieves to trade off each other instantly, and everybody's getting caught off by great timings by FlyQuest. But at least now Melia has advantage, has position. Could delay now. And angle with the shot.
Poison orb emitting.
Tough angle.
Poison's off.
One enemy remaining.
And here's the contact, and Ev finishes it. Great double swing. Aluvali a sacrifice, but the preparation, the hard work of FlyQuest pays off. And we go to a third map.
And the timeout wasn't even needed by Coach Joe after all to think about the next round